Good evening. I'm Ted, your host, and welcome to my channel. On this channel, we'll explore all things that go bumping tonight. But before we get into it, if you could be kind enough to hit like and subscribe and to share this video, because it really does help this channel out. And you may also want to turn on your notifications so you'll be kept informed on any new videos that we come out with. With that being said, on to our first video. This story is from someone that agreed to house sit for a friend of theirs. Only thing is, she might have bit off a little bit more than she could chew. I saw an apparition this morning at 6:33. No, I'm not joking. And no, I have never seen an apparition or anything like this before. But I'm house sitting for a friend and don't really know what to think right now. I woke up and saw a man standing in front of me in the dark. My first thought, since my boyfriend was over here last night, was that it was my boyfriend. In my head, I was questioning on whether or not he actually went home last night or did he come back for some reason. But I could clearly see that it was not my boyfriend. So naturally, I'm trying to figure out who this man could be. And he's standing there, and I'm house sitting for a family that's away on vacation. And I start to think that some late 20s looking guy has broken into the house and was staring at me as I slept. I couldn't make out who the man was, but then he sat down on the edge of the bed, slightly facing me, and just stared at me. All I could think was, no, this can't be real. This can't be happening. What is he going to do to me? Etc. We just stared into each other's eyes. Then I blinked, and he dissipated right in front of me. I didn't think he was a ghost until the whole fading away right in front of me thing. I thought a man had broken into the house, and I was terrified. The first thing I did was ask my friend's Alexa what time it was. Alexa said 6:33. And I text my friend that I saw a ghost. Their house was very old, and it's plausible, I guess. I knew everyone was going to think I was insane, especially for this detail, but he genuinely looked like Joe Keery from Stranger Things. Mostly the nose, his eyes were a bit smaller. Of course, everyone I've told so far has asked me if I've been watching Stranger Things, but I really haven't. It wasn't exact, it was just a strong resemblance. The dog did not bark or react in any way. I mean, she is an old pup. My first thought was to rationalize this, that my mind twisted something in front of me into a human form. Because if I see something like a coat or something in the dark, sometimes I might think it could be a human. But there was truly no rationalizing this. I thought maybe sleep paralysis, but my head and eyes moved just fine. It wasn't that I couldn't move. I was just afraid to. You know what? If you're going to ask someone to house sit for you, you should, pre-warn them about any kind of issues that might come up. Maybe you got a noisy neighbor, a leaky faucet, or that maybe your house is haunted. You know, small things like that. Next up, we got one from a baggage handler at an airport who, during one of his shifts, had an encounter that he kind of wishes he hadn't. The reason I quit my job at the airport. I started my new job at Will Rogers Airport. I say new job, but I was really just moved to a different airline, but I was still working in the same ramp agent position. Now I have to tell you that I have a crippling fear of heights, and my least favorite part of being a ramp agent is when I have to climb in the cargo bin on the rear loading planes, because it's about 20 feet above the ground. This particular night was a strange mix of a few factors, creating an uneasy feeling. The first ambient sun condition is that it was raining. Not just light raining, but pouring rain with a few scattered lightning flashes and random power surges. Every now and then, we have a body that we need to transport in the cargo bin. This was one of those occasions. And tonight was my lucky night, apparently, because my manager told me I was throwing this plane. Throwing, meaning I was pulling the cargo out of the bin. It was the last plane for the night, and there wasn't very much cargo besides the body. My co-worker, John, pulled the ramp loader to the plane and raised it up so I could walk up the conveyor belt into the bin. About 4 other co-workers came over with a baggage tug for the cargo. I say to everyone in a louder than normal tone because of the rain was loudly smacking the metal shell of the airplane, I hope y'all are ready. I'm not trying to be here all night. John laughed and said, "Don't worry about it. Maybe you can make a new friend in now," in reference to the body. I didn't think it was funny, but I chuckled and told him to shut up and let's get going. Well, that was a little funny. I climbed into the small and cramped space and sat in the bin as far from this human-sized white cardboard box as I could. I pulled my phone out of my pocket to select a playlist to listen to while I throw the bin. I find a good one, and I start walking. The conveyor belt moves at a snail's pace, and you have to wait until they scan each individual package. So I can't exactly throw it as fast as I want to, just to get out of there. About 10 minutes into it, I'm getting closer and closer to this box, and my music suddenly stopped playing. Now, I've had earbuds in the past that short out when they get wet. So in the front of my mind, I automatically think that the rain somehow got on, and I just need to shake a little water off them. But they were bone dry. I checked Spotify to see if it was a glitch or a problem with the app. I see I have an unread text. Now, did I get a notification and just forgot to check it while I was in the midst of my rap-fueled baggage handling? The way my phone's set up, is when I get a text, it will tell you who it's from, but it won't display the message. You have to access the message to read it. This message was from an unknown number, which was odd because very few people have my number to begin with. I clicked the notification to read the message. It just simply says, "Hi." I sent a text back. Hey, who is this? My phone displays that whoever sent me the message saw mine immediately after I sent it. I waited, and no response. So I started my playlist back up and got back to my job. Shortly after, a crash of thunder that was so loud, the plane shook. It made me jump at first, but I quickly rationalized it and returned to work. I noticed the conveyor belt was no longer moving. I yelled to John, "What the hell is going on out there? Why did it stop?" John replied, "Damn thing ran out of gas. We're going to take this load of cargo to drop off while we get another loader over there. Sit tight." I think to myself, where the hell else am I gonna go? About a minute later, it got cold, like I see my breath cold. I wrote it off as just a cold front and reached over for some stranger's luggage to lean on while I wait. As I look over for a bag to grab, lightning went across the sky, and I saw a quick flash of a little boy. He was 11, maybe 12 years old, sitting on the white box. He was just staring at me with this eerily happy smile, and his head turned slightly to the one side. My heart sunk, and I froze, never taking my eyes off the box for what felt like hours. I was startled by the replacement convoy belt starting up right next to the plane. I darted to the moving conveyor, crawling as fast as I could, trying to keep both my balance and my panic at the same time. I hit the ground and looked at John and said, "Nope, I'm done. You're gonna have to go in there." I didn't want to explain exactly what I saw, but John knew something scared me shitless. He asked me, "What's wrong? Who was it?" I stuttered and walked away before I could say anything. Then, I got a new text message notification that I heard loud and clear this time. A response from the unknown sender saying, "It's your new friend." My dude, I know it must have been terrifying for you, but look at it this way. You did make a new friend. This one is from someone that actually listens to 911 calls professionally, and then she heard this one phone call that I don't think she'll ever forget. The 911 call. I work for the county, not as a dispatcher, you understand, but as one of the people who clean up recons afterwards. You know, for training material, legal review, that kind of thing. Most cars never make it past the first pass. They were boring or redundant, or in some cases just too chaotic to be useful. Others stay with me longer than they should have. You learn to just shake it off. I mean, you have to. This one slipped through. The call came in at 2:17 a.m. on a Wednesday, residential. No address anomaly. No drop signal. The dispatcher's voice was calm, professional, exactly how it should be. The caller was a woman. Mid-30s, maybe older, hard to tell. Her voice was steady in a way that didn't match what she was saying. "There's someone in my house," she said. The dispatcher, following protocol, asked for her address. She confirmed it. Then she asked if she was in immediate danger. "I don't think so," the woman said. "He's just standing there." The dispatcher asked, "Standing where?" "In the hallway, outside my bedroom," she said. The dispatcher asked if she could leave the room. "No," she said. Dispatcher asked, "Why not?" "Because he told me not to." There it was, the first thing that made me pause the audio. The dispatcher handled it well. Asked for a description. The caller said male, average height, dark clothes, no visible weapon, not moving, just standing. The police were dispatched. ETA was 7 minutes. The dispatcher told the woman to stay on the line, lock the door if possible. "I already did," the woman said. "He unlocked it." That earned a note in the margin. Possibly hallucinations, possible domestic situation, stress response. The dispatcher asked if the woman knew the man. "I don't think so," she said. Then, after a beat, she said, "He knows me." The dispatcher asked, "How?" And she said, "He's using my name." The dispatcher asked her to whisper if she needs to. The woman said, "He says it doesn't matter." That's when the call quality changed. Not static, not interference, just a subtle flattening of the sound, like the room had absorbed it. I remember leaning back in my chair when I first heard that part, rolling my shoulders, telling myself not to pay too close attention. The dispatcher asked the woman to describe what the man was doing now. "He tilted his head," she said, "like he's listening to you." The dispatcher paused. You could hear it. Maybe half a second too long. "Ma'am, is he speaking right now?" "No," the old woman said, "but he's smiling." The dispatcher told her to keep her eye on the door. "I don't have to," the woman said. "I could see his shadow under it." The dispatcher asked if there was any light on in the hallway. "No," she said. "Then how could you see the shadow?" the dispatcher asked. Another pause. "He's brighter than the dark," the woman said. That is where the training value dropped off. The line got flagged for psychological distress. I should have trimmed it there, but I didn't. The dispatcher redirected, asking the woman to describe her surroundings. It's a grounding technique. The dispatcher asked the woman to breathe and to name objects in the room. The woman complied. She said, Bed, dresser, lamp, phone. Then she stopped. What is it? The dispatcher asked. He's closer, the woman said. I didn't hear him move. The dispatcher told her officers were en route. I know, the woman said. He said they won't see him. The dispatcher asked her to clarify. He said he's not here the way that they're here. That sentence is underlined 3 times in my notes. The dispatcher asked the woman to keep talking. I don't think I'm supposed to, she said. He's asking me why you're lying to me. The dispatcher assured her no one was lying. The woman laughed, a short sound, almost embarrassed. He says you're very good at it, she said. At 2:23 a.m., the audio picked up a second voice. It was faint. Not coming through the phone, though. Sounded like it was coming through the room. I replayed that section dozens of times, checked waveforms, compared channels. It was there. A man's voice, low and unhurried. That's not true, it said. The dispatcher reacted immediately, asking who else was in the room. The woman didn't answer. Instead, the man spoke again, clearer this time. You shouldn't have told her to lock the door. The dispatcher called for backup. Her voice stayed level, but tightened. Ma'am, if you can hear me, please respond. She can hear you, the man said. She just doesn't know which one of us to answer. The woman started crying then, quietly, like she was trying not to be rude. I don't want to make him mad at me, she said. The dispatcher asked who he was. I asked her not to explain me, the man said. It never goes well. The dispatcher told the woman to leave the phone on and exit through the window if possible. There was a sound then, fabric shifting. Footsteps, not hurried. No, the man said. Not raised, not threatening, just firm. We're almost done. Well, my bowels are almost done. The dispatcher said officers were on the street. I know, the man said. I can hear them thinking. The woman made a small noise, like she was surprised. He's right, she said. They're scared. The dispatcher asked the woman to focus on her voice. Which one, the woman asked. That was the last thing she said. The call ended at 2:26 a.m., an abrupt disconnect. No struggle sounds, no screams, just silence. The police report came in later that morning. Officers arrived to find the house empty, front door unlocked, bedroom undisturbed, phone on the bed, screen cracked from the inside. No signs of forced entry, no signs of exit. The woman had no history of mental illness, no domestic partner, no neighbors reporting seeing anyone leave. The case was marked unsolved. I edited the call down to 6 minutes, removed the second voice, cut the stranger references, left it as a textbook example of a perceived intruder with dissociative features. That's what I told myself. 2 months later, I got a call from my supervisor. She asked me if I had worked on file 0426. I said, yes. She asked why my name was spoken on the recording. I didn't understand. She played it for me, a version I've never heard. Same call, same time stamp, same voices. Except this time, when the man spoke for the first time, he said my name. Not shouted, not emphasized. He said just like it was, obvious. That's not true, Asha, he said. I told my supervisor it must have been contamination or audio bleed, suggestibility. She nodded. She looked tired. She asked me to listen to one more thing. A call that came in that morning. A different dispatcher, different address. And it was a man on the line this time. There's someone in my house, he said. The dispatcher asked for his name. He gave it. Then he said, he's telling me you already know this part. 911, do you require police, fire, ambulance, or exorcist? Well, I think that is where we'll end it for one night. I sincerely hope I didn't scare you too much. But I do want to thank you for stopping by and surviving until the end. But before you go, to help prevent any ghosts from attaching to you, can you please hit like and subscribe and share this video? It really does help us keep the ghosts at bay. And you may also want to turn on your notifications so you'll be kept informed when any of our new videos come out. Once again, thanks for stopping by, and remember, beware of all things that go bump in the night.